Welcome back to the Barely Thinkin Podcast. My name is Derek. I'm here with my buddy Steve. How's it going, Steve?
Pretty good about yourself, man.
I'm doing well. And before we introduce our guest, I do have to come clean about something to you, Steve-O.
What?
And you're probably going to kick my butt for it, but I missed the upload last week. Because of everything going on at home, there was no upload, so we missed a week.
Yeah.
For the first time ever.
It's all right. We're ahead one now, then.
Yeah, so Steven's going to act like he doesn't care, but after the episode, he's going to take me out back and beat the shit out of me.
Yeah, I need a week's recovery time, so he looks good on camera, you know.
Anyway, we got our buddy Davey here. He was here last time. He is the pit crew mechanic and race car driver. How's it going, Davey?
Good. How are you guys?
Living the dream.
Oh, yeah, someone's right.
Oh, yeah. Nightmares are still considered dreams. But,
Yeah, every day.
So you had a race last weekend, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I raced
This
Sunday at
past
Hudson
weekend?
Speedway. Yep.
How'd that go?
Kind of had issues with the car all day.
Oh, yeah.
With a new radiator cap. We just couldn't get the thing to seal off, and it was fine. And we might have some issues with the engine. We're not really sure yet. The guys are going to take it back to the shop and hopefully diagnose that. But we were able to run for the feature, and I think we ran 4th for the heat race and finished 5th. There was maybe 10 cars there, so it was kind of a small field. But
Yep.
Do you know if Eric was in that race? Because I
don't-
saw him post a race on Facebook around the same time you did, so I wasn't sure if it was the
possibly.
same
I'm
one.
not too familiar with him.
He's got
though.
the black and green car, I think number 1. No, you're number 1.
Did
right?
you run a late model Sportsman before that was sponsored Ultimate Pimmer?
Yeah, yep.
I haven't seen him in a few years.
He might be doing
Yeah.
he might be in a different kind of race, but
I remember seeing that car a couple years ago when I was
yeah, I know you
maybe
raced
a
him one
rookie
time,
or
yeah.
my second year in the late model. Yep.
That
Pretty
car's so
sweet.
cool.
Yeah, so you're traveling a lot, right, for your pit crew stuff?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the places I've been since the last trip on the podcast. Let's see, we ran Watkins Glen, New York. One of our cars got a podium there. It was a pretty solid run. And then we ran Nashville the other weekend, and that was a lot of fun. Going to Nashville is something I've been through it, but I never stopped in there. We were staying right downtown, right off from Broadway. So I mean, there was definitely some shenanigans that happened after the racetrack, but
Dude,
being there,
I've always wanted to go to Nashville.
Yeah, being there with the with IndyCar, Trans Am Series was there, and the Stadium Super Trucks, and when those guys go out on track with the Stadium Supers, I mean they come and put ramps on the racetrack, and those guys are jumping, and you're standing next to a big fence, and they're over the fence. It's
so they just
wild.
have ramps as a part of the race?
Yeah, just for those guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
That's sick.
That's wild.
Yeah. Going through corners, they got the left front picking way up in the air. I mean, it's pretty badass.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch.
I'd love to get into one of those trucks and just absolutely destroy an area in the thing.
Cletus McFarland was in it. I don't know if you guys have seen any of his YouTube videos, but he might have been a little bit of a wrecking ball, but it's still so much fun just to go and watch those guys. And Robbie Gordon, I used to watch him in NASCAR. And
that's sick. So you said Cletus was in that race?
Yeah, Cletus
That's
was
awesome.
in it.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It was pretty sweet.
I haven't watched his videos in a long time, so I don't know what he's up to now. But
He actually owns a racetrack down in Florida
I did hear that.
called the Freedom Factory. Yeah, and he's been a big help with a revival of short track racing.
That's awesome.
So far, and pumping money into it, and broadcasting it to young viewers, because there was a while where short track racing was kind of going away. It wasn't as big, and then lately in the last few years, I think because of COVID, people want to get out to the track, and now tracks like North Wilkesboro down in North Carolina, they're opening back up again and running some really big races with wheel and modified, super late models. So I mean, it's pretty cool to see, all this stuff coming back, and to be in it and be around that area. It's pretty awesome.
He's got a massive viewership too, right?
Oh yeah, huge.
How big's his channel? Do you know?
I assume over
guess we could
a
look
million
it up.
subscribers. Yeah.
I haven't seen his videos in quite some time.
I was gonna say I thought it was over 1 million, but I
Yeah.
could be wrong.
I don't think he's as big as Whistling Diesel, but
Yeah.
that guy's pretty comical too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like watching both their videos.
Yeah.
It's funny you said that it hasn't been as prominent lately, last couple of years. Because I remember when I was a younger kid, turning on, I forget what channel it was, the exact one, but it was the dirt races.
Mm-hmm.
Trophy trucks, everything, sprint cars on dirt.
Yep.
It was badass.
All that was broadcasted on TV back then, and now there's so many different private.
What's that say? 3 million?
Yeah, 3 million subscribers. I
That's
mean,
a
good for
ton.
him.
That's a huge channel.
He seems like an awesome guy to just talk to, hang out with, just a regular guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's cool that he has the platform to be able to share with all those people and get people that maybe weren't in the sport before into it now.
100%.
And it's a lot of fun. High horsepower stuff is really cool.
Do you ever think of doing something like that, like starting a channel? And
like I have my YouTube channel, like I'll post, some like pit stop videos,
really?
I posted my heat race from.
What's your channel name?
It's just my name, Davey Riendo. I used to do RIEN. I used to do a lot of sim racing stuff and streamed on Twitch for a couple of years.
Oh, that's cool.
Before I was in a full size car, I was streaming quite a bit. And
I can't see anything on the screen. I don't even.
RIENDEAU. There you go.
RIENDEAU.
Yep, there you go.
I couldn't even see what I was typing, so I have no idea
Yep.
how I spelled that.
I can't see in general.
I can't read.
But yeah, that would be cool to like follow you in your adventures of
yeah, I try to
traveling and stuff.
like, if anything, my life is literally lived through like Snapchat. Like I'll take like 5 to 10 second clips of kind of where I'm at, and like the other day in Nashville, it's like we're gridding up to go out to pit road, and like there's a attack helicopter flying over us, and like we're all gridded up. There's fans everywhere. It's just like, here's a quick clip of what I'm doing today, guys. And it's like, I hate to say like you get accustomed to it, but I mean you have to.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like
you
have to be used to it, and like getting that fan out of me and just being a professional and acting accordingly. But I mean, we still goof off a little bit when no one's around, and like,
but there's still part of it, right, where you're like, wow, I can't believe I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, there's moments where it's like I
got to enjoy it.
Yeah, I still can't believe that I'm doing this. It's such a far-fetched dream, and like I remember showing up to preschool, for career day, right, and like showing up with a racing helmet. Like, this is what I want to do.
That's so cool.
Like now I wear a different helmet for a career, but we'll see if we can kind of get the best of both worlds. Like,
it's cool you kind of had that idea from kindergarten, though, because like I've gone through a bunch of different stuff that I want to do professionally, and obviously I kind of landed on photo and video, but I definitely didn't have I had no idea I'd become like a graphic designer and a photographer when I grew up. I think I always wanted to be a firefighter or something.
Right.
Yeah. I was just going with the wind. I never really had anything that I was like, oh, I want to go do that, or I want to go do this.
Right.
I was very good at enjoying the moment.
So that must be like such
I'm pretty
feeling.
grateful that I had that, growing up. I had, a goal and a vision from when I was a kid, and there's been, stuff along the way that have kept me from it and that I've kept myself from, and then eventually to just get back into it, do it full force. I just, had to fully commit, move out of the state, start new somewhere else, and the fact that it's paying off, and, just you have to work hard.
Yeah, you have to, and I think like you're a perfect example of like you just got to go make it happen for yourself. Like a lot of people dream of having some like crazy job and they never do anything to like get there.
Right.
So you just got to go for it.
I was having this conversation with one of my friends earlier on this week. Is like he's stuck with what he's doing. It's like, man, make a change, send out applications, dream big. Like,
you're the only one that can change.
Yeah,
your life.
Right? Like, if you're just gonna sit there and complain about it, you can do that your whole life. But if you don't try to do something else and try to be better, then you're not really gonna go anywhere.
Right.
100%.
Just get stuck being in a job you hate.
Yeah.
Life you hate in general.
But there's other stuff to it. I mean, it's all about who you know. And like when I was a kid growing up, like I had a good friend that pursued that right out of high school and made a lot of connections, which now have become some of my connections. And like I'm grateful for him because he called me a couple of years ago in 2020 to come and help out with the sports car stuff. I had no idea about it, and that turned into connections for me and people that I knew. And when it was time for me to just full send, it was connections based off of someone I knew, so it's like for a lot of people that don't have those connections, it's really tough to get into, the sports car world or just anything in professional sports.
Sure.
You name it. Like a lot of it is who you know, and like.
But I think that's an important part of learning how to live too, is surrounding yourself with people that are similar to how you want to be, right?
Exactly.
Like if you're around people that are terrible people, you turn into the person that you're like the sum of all parts, right? Of all the people you hang out with.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Yep.
So
it's really all about networking.
Yeah.
That's half the job, is just networking and meeting new people.
100%.
Yeah.
But also, like you guys touched upon too, you got to throw yourself out there 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
Be about it. Don't talk about it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue. Everyone's a dreamer.
Yeah.
I get that, but if you're not going to do anything.
There's always sacrifices too. I mean, I've had to sacrifice a lot of time away from my family, and living out on the road, it's hard for relationships and, kind of whatever else goes like goes through it. For my friends that have full-time jobs down south, I don't get to see them a whole lot because I haven't been home since August 3rd, and today is the 16th.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll be home on the 22nd for a week or two, and then I'm off to Sebring, Florida.
Yeah.
Yep.
That can be tough. Definitely, I can definitely see how that's brutal.
Yeah, it can get tough, challenging, but I mean, you find the right people and you surround yourself with them. I mean, that's what it's about.
You got to go get those life experiences because you don't want to look back and think why didn't I not do that, right?
If I didn't do it, I'd regret it.
100%.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like the pace is too fast?
For me, no. I love it. I love fast pace. I love pressure. Working under pressure, and like for what I'm doing, it's not as crazy as like some of my buddies that work in NASCAR, where they're doing 4 tire changes in 8+ seconds. I mean, the choreography is different. The way the pit stop is set up different. The rules are different, but I mean, for what they're doing, it's to minimize the time on pit road. So to do 4 tires and fuel in a little over 8 seconds, I mean, to me,
insane.
that's just ludicrous.
Yeah.
But there's other forms of racing, like Formula One, where a 2+ second stop that was slow at the time.
Whoa.
It's because they have 2+ guys or 3 guys per wheel. One guy pulling, like one guy on the gun, one guy pulling it off, another one hanging it on. So, but by the time they lift the car up and down and it's 2.5 seconds, I mean, it's fast.
How heavy are those things? Those Formula One cars?
Formula One, I'm not quite sure. Yeah. I imagine they're around.
I guess, we do have the Google machine.
You could look it up. With the current ones, like I don't really stay too close with Formula One. It's not really my form of racing that I like to watch.
Yep. Yeah. Have you ever seen Travis Pastrana, that race he puts on, the Pit Bike Challenge?
I saw they were doing that. Yeah, that looks like a blast.
Dude, I've been getting into that.
Yep.
Like, I love watching motocross, but the pit bike races are way better than the full-on motocross races, I think.
Right.
Because no one cares on pit bikes. You see how people actually want to ride.
Yeah.
Like jerks.
Does he do the crazy stuff with like lawnmowers and like trailers and stuff? You ever see those races on Facebook? Videos of like people going through like destroying themselves?
Yeah, he does. Well, he's like a stunt guy. He's the Nitro Circus.
I've seen his Nitro Circus stuff, yeah.
But I don't know specifically if he does that, to answer your question.
Yeah, I saw he was doing the Pit Viper, like Pit Bikes World Championship, and like that looks like a blast. Yeah. And a few broken collarbones, but
sure.
Definitely.
I think we touched on that last time I was on the show.
Broken collarbones suck.
Yep.
You used to be a pretty avid dirt biker, didn't you?
Yeah, that's where I started, man, was racing motocross. I was 5 years old, then raced up early teenage years, and with age comes a cage, and got into a go-kart, and we were pretty good in a kart in 2007, and then I got out of it, and then focused on
sim. For a kart, what kind of race? Like, were you making money racing? Were you like racing for money, or was it just like
back then? Not really. You're just kind of racing to go have fun.
Because I mean, I don't know what kind of leagues are out there and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, this was at Sugar Hill Speedway in Ware, New Hampshire, and I started there in I want to say 2004, and then we raced up until I think my last race there was like 2009. My last full season was in 2007, and we won the championship, and then we popped the motor on the last race, and like that was our budget. We couldn't do it anymore.
Sure.
So I mean, that was too bad. But broke racing team, we just had to do what we could, and it was a sacrifice every week for my whole family. And like looking back, I didn't realize it. I was so young.
You never do.
Yeah,
100%.
The sacrifices my parents would make, so I could get to the track on Sunday and go race. I'm extremely thankful for them, because without that type of sacrifice, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. And this last test, I was in Wisconsin a couple days ago, and we needed a trucker to bring a car from North Carolina to Road America while we were all in Nashville. And, they trust me for my input and have my father drive a truck and trailer for us. I mean, that was pretty cool to share that experience with him again. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that was pretty sweet.
Man.
Yep. So I'm hopefully getting him introduced into some more fly-in truck driving work. And the world's your oyster, man. You can just network and make it happen.
Absolutely.
Yep.
You got to do it.
So what's the process, though? Like someone like me who wants to go race the go-karts at that Sugar Hill you said?
Yeah, they closed down, but there's other tracks that still run them.
You just have to have any kind of cart, or?
It's all up to the rule book. I mean, there's going to be a specific cart for each class, and with karting, it's all kind of done by weight class. So like you'd probably be in like a heavy, so like whether it was a flat cart or Like a cage cart would probably be like a heavy division, so it'd be like 425 pounds, you and the cart together. But it really depends. There's different chassis for different applications, whether or not you wanted to race on dirt or pavement. With karting, you can kind of go back and forth, but it's good to have one that's kind of designated for, each like discipline, I guess.
There must be some nasty crashes in that.
Yeah, with open carts, ones without a cage, you don't want a seatbelt.
Yeah.
You want to be able to fly out of that
Right.
thing. You don't want it to come down and land on you. But with cage carts, you want to stay in them because then you have that much weight landing on you. It's not fun either.
I feel like you got a way better chance jumping out than going for the roll.
Yeah. I ran a dirt cart at Millbridge in like 2017. That was a dirt flat cart. Me and my buddy were commuting down from basically this area, Boston, to North Carolina to run go-karts. And we were doing it out of like a Nissan Pathfinder with a 5x9 U-Haul trailer. We were showing up and like all these guys had these big trucks, big trailers, full on lights, and we're just broke racing.
Is that
team.
like one of those like rich man sports that like people just dump a bunch of money in because it's their hobby if they have it? And
yeah, but I mean,
people
we
just
put
ball
them,
out?
like me and my buddy put them in the B main,
Yeah.
which is even funnier because like we didn't have to run it. So like the way they do it is like how well you qualify, and then the guys that don't qualify in the top 10 spots, they got to go to the B main and race their way in from there. And like we were using trash cans to put our go-karts on, take tires
Sure.
off, scrub tires, prep them again, and then get back out there. So it's nice to be the little guy. But then as you kind of progress in the higher forms of motorsport, I mean, the little guy gets phased out because it's just
can't afford
money.
yeah.
Money gets you where you need to go.
Right.
I bet these carts, like a new one, they probably go for what, a couple grand?
It really depends on the type of cart, but yeah, it's
Like a base model, nothing fancy. You get into it for your first cart. What would you recommend?
For a cart. I mean, a budget probably $3,000 to $8,000 will get you will get you going in karting.
You have one specific brand that you...
Like I said, it depends on the discipline, whether you want a road course race, oval. I mean, there's different types of carts and there's a bunch of them. And like, I'm not really too far into karting anymore. I'll go and help out, and I coach a girl down in North Carolina every once in a while. But she's racing an outlaw like kart, I guess. So it's like a mini sprint, but smaller.
So are these the caged ones you were talking about?
No, those are like what you buy
I
at
didn't
Walmart.
think so. Yeah.
Type in like outlaw cart. There you go. Like those guys down at like the number 9.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, those are wild.
Yeah, those are a lot of fun. So that's what. Let's see. That's Owen Larson, Kyle Larson's kid there.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and what's cool is like at Millbridge. I mean, it's right down the street from me, and all these NASCAR drivers' kids are there. So like I saw.
That's cool.
Clint Boyer, Ryan Newman, Owen, Kyle Busch, all there with their kids.
And I'm sure their kids are nasty at driving too.
Yeah, I mean they got the best of the best equipment, but they've been like that's the thing with racing. It's like the earlier that you're introduced to it, the better you're gonna be later on.
Yeah,
for
I can
sure.
see that.
Yeah,
Oh, that's wicked cool, man.
yeah, it's fun.
So I didn't know you did like sim. I knew you did the sim stuff. I didn't know you like streamed it. How long did you do that
I
for?
used to a long
Yeah.
time. I did it for a couple of years. I wasn't like too big into it, and then when I got into using virtual reality as a sim tool, that got me farther away from streaming because it's another thing that just it's hard to interact and talk with your chat,
Right.
while you have these goggles on.
Especially when you have all that stuff going on. You got to get the headset working. You got to get all your equipment working.
Yeah, the audio was big. For some reason, I always had difficulties with audio.
Yeah.
So I kind of got out of that because before I used to have a separate screen where I could read chat and interact with them during races and whatnot. And then they made different overlays. You could have chat show up in your headset, but it's like I did sim racing for one purpose, and that was just to train hand-eye coordination and be better and learn different tracks that are, laser scanned from real life tracks. So
that's what all
for
like,
me
the
it was
pros
a training
do now
tool
too, right?
What's that?
Like all the pros have their own sim setups that they practice on and stuff.
I'd say most of them do now.
Yeah.
10 years ago maybe not, but
Sure.
I think after COVID that's kind of when it really took off because then they were literally streaming iRacing races on NBC because there's nothing else to do.
It was kind of funny to see that on TV, like taking place of like NASCAR races.
Yeah.
I remember when that happened.
Just esports as a whole, it's really boomed.
Oh yeah, there's so much money in esports.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like now I can't afford to put together a new computer because that's where I'm at. Is like I need to build a new computer, but with the price of everything, it's like I'd just rather $3,000 for a graphics card. It's like, I'm going to buy a couple sets of tires for my late model and go have fun.
The nice thing is parts are starting to come down in price now. They're not as crazy as they were.
Yeah, exactly.
So secondhand is usually how I do it, but
maybe this winter I'll get another one set up and then use my current PC for like a stream PC or something.
It is kind of sketchy to get a graphics card secondhand, especially now because it could be mined on, and then it's like, well, when is it going to fail on me? And
what's mined on mean?
So when you know what Bitcoin is? Have you heard of Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the longest time, everybody was building these huge computers with tons of graphics cards and mining Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies on it. And it basically maxes out the power on your graphics card like 24/7. So eventually that thing's going to die. I mean, it's like anything. You just max it out for too long. Eventually it's going to go. And because the price of crypto, like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency crashed, nobody's mining it anymore. So all those cards are ending up on eBay and stuff. So you can get like decent graphics cards for cheap, but you never know when they're going to fail.
Gotcha.
Just like your 3-wheeler, it's ridden hard and put away wet, Steve.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I did post, was it yesterday, my heat race from Hudson. I had some issues because I forgot my molded earbuds. Like I have special earbuds that go in my ear, so I can hear my spotter. And I think I left them in the truck.
Oh, that's sick, dude. You've got a in-car cam.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt, but that's dope.
I left my earbuds in Wisconsin, I'm pretty sure, because I couldn't find them in my backpack. So I'm like searching through the paddock trying to find someone with some like generic earbuds, just I can stuff in my ear and plug into my radio. Right when I'm going out to the grid, they fall out. And there's no way, like I got gloves on, I'm fully restrained in. I'm like trying to find them. I was like, well, I guess we don't have a spotter today. So I ended up, I think cutting off Justin Littlewood's valve stem is what happened. I thought I cut his tire down, but I came down in turn 3. I think on like there was a caution. I think on like lap 2 or 3. I came down on him going into this corner and took his valve stem out. Like I apologize. I just didn't know he was there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was just a racing deal. I try to be as respectful as I can with those guys because those are the same guys I race against every single week. So it's like it's a lot easier to not have issues. We just go out, race hard, race clean, have fun, load it up, and go home.
Yeah, there's no sense in crashing up a car.
It sucks to just go home and repair it, right?
Yeah.
Than to try and make it faster.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, you were talking about money before on the go-karts. When you crash one of these things, I can't imagine.
It's not cheap. Yeah. We put a new body on it, but I mean, our chassis is like almost 30 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, we're working with what we got against some guys that have some really nice equipment, and we're really hitting the notebooks to try and keep up with them.
I bet
doing what we can and like luckily we've had some great help from some like local short track families that have been in it. They're friends with my car owner Louie, and they help us out quite a bit. So awesome. without them, I wouldn't be able to at least hang out with the front guys.
Sure. That's cool. So what do you use for a camera in your car here?
It's just a Hero 8.
Yeah, that's
GoPro. Yep.
GoPro. That's sick.
Yep.
That's really cool.
So do you post all your races like this?
Not all of them. I usually forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try to do my pit stops too, but like in the moment, I'm in a fire suit, and like every race this year, it's been over like 100 degrees, and like so I'm just trying to maintain one goal, and that is to change tires.
Oh, you do have your pit stops. Sick.
Yeah, this was that was from Sonoma, March of this year. No, this was like one of my first pit stops on the wheel gun. Yeah, like it's really tricky for me because the lug nuts, just the center lug, they tighten to the front of the car. So when you're tightening the left front wheel and you run across the nose, you don't change the direction of the gun because on the right side you're going to be loosening it with that same direction. But there's a paddle on the top of it that changes the torque, and it's a 60-40 gun. I don't believe there's too many teams that use those because it just makes it really confusing. But it's like an added step into kind of what we have to do. And I'll sit there on the wall and just kind of pretend to do a pit stop in my head, changing the directions, hitting the paddle. Then this is kind of more my job in the shop. This was me working with my buddy Chris.
Dude, it's so sick because these are like real deal race cars. Like,
these are.
They're no joke.
There's really not a whole lot of these in the country.
Yeah.
So it's cool to kind of have my hands in it, and I've know quite a bit about the cars now and drivetrain, and that's kind of my specialties at the shop, building up extra suspension corners, rebuilding drivetrains, clutches, repairing body work. And just this year we've been able to really work on kind of our make it like a little factory just with a couple of us, and have our positions and try and streamline things as best as we can. So
That's awesome.
that's-
So you said they have a YouTube channel for like their races, right? Or
Yeah,
do
it's
they-
DXDT Racing. Yeah,
That's wild, man.
yeah. I was doing some Ferrari Challenge beginning of this year, but that just kind of wasn't where I wanted my racing career to go.
Yeah.
Because like that's more like gentleman racing, where some customer is paying the team to go drive cars, they go smash them up, and they're nice, cool cars, but it's just not what I want to be in pro racing. I like being around pro drivers.
Yep.
This was from Sebring
Wow.
last year. That's me wiping down the car, and being around like this caliber of guys and the whole team itself. We all have such vast motorsports experience, from Formula One to IndyCar to short track racing, autocross. It's like we all bring a lot of special skills to the table that we can all combine. And like that's what I feel like our team is working really well this year, and we're just working towards the results. And that's just as soon as the drivers get in the car and they start up and take off, it's like we've done our job. We've done all we can do. Good luck.
Yep.
And whatever happens on track, we prepare as much as we can in the shop, for weeks, for the 2 hours that we race.
Have you guys ever gotten like the main driver and all raced go-karts to see if you could win?
Actually, this happened the other day in Wisconsin. We did like a team building exercise that practiced, I don't know, what was the objective? It was to practice racecraft. So they threw all of us monkeys in, all the crew monkeys with like Brian Sellers, Dirk Mueller, David Askew, and Scott Smithson are like GT3 drivers. They threw all of us out there, and like we were just having a blast.
That's awesome.
And none of the karts were equal. The first kart I was in, I could have
They
lapped.
never are.
I could have lapped the field with, but
Mhm.
I was just sliding around having fun. And then my next two karts were super slow, and like I'm pulling on the throttle cable trying to get a little bit more out of it. Like we got people pulling spark plug, wires off, just playing dirty.
That's crazy.
Just having a blast. I mean, there really wasn't a whole lot of racecraft practice, but I mean, it was just it was more of a team building thing than anything,
Yeah.
The production quality on these videos are crazy.
Yeah, and our photographer too is really good. He's Jamie Price, and he's a world famous motorsports photographer that
So
covers
cool.
Formula One, IMSA, SRO. Yeah,
Because I'm a photographer, but I've never done like race photography. That's some crazy stuff. I've seen like
Yeah.
videos of people doing it. I don't even like how fast you have to be on your shutter and everything. It's insane.
Yeah,
It's
he actually hosts some classes every now and then. You should follow
Oh,
him
really?
on Instagram. Yeah, no, Jamie Price Photo. Yeah, he's a cool dude. I'm not sure who does the videography. It could have been him. I could be wrong, but he like sometimes posts and does some like workshops and different classes and stuff. And like I'm not really into photography much. It's another hobby I can't spend money on.
Yep.
You know.
Everything fun's expensive.
Yeah.
always, yep.
That's kind of how
Especially photography. Photography's crazy expensive.
it goes. Yeah.
Especially the lenses you need for those kind of races. Is
Yeah, like I see him walking around with his gear bag, and it's like that looks like it sucks. Like I give him a lot of credit because
yeah.
he's out there just as long as us, and sometimes he's going to be in a fire suit for longer. On race
And then
days.
he's got to go home and go through his photos and then edit them.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
for what he does as I believe he's an independent contractor and his own business. And
Sure.
contracts out with different race teams. I mean, he's got a really good thing going. And he gets to travel the world and do it, and he's probably not home with his family much, but
Sure.
I'm sure he's enjoying life to however much he can get out of it.
Yeah. I don't think with where my family's at right now, I don't think I'd be able to travel to do
Right.
stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
But man, is it cool.
This was the race at Nashville last year. We had different customers. I wasn't at this one just because that was extra personnel. I wasn't really needed. But this year at Nashville was a lot of fun. The weather was kind of iffy. There was one day it absolutely poured on us.
Ugh.
We were out there for qualifying, and I think it was the last lap of qualifying. It just started dumping down. And I'm walking back to the truck with my team manager. We're kind of like hustling, and then we're just, you know what, just walk.
Yeah.
Just walk.
You're going to get wet anyway. Might as well just walk.
Yeah, we all had to change, and then it got really, sunny and hot and humid, and that's just kind of been how it's been all year. It's like it'll pour, and then just we'll get all the humidity right after it.
So where's the next race?
Road America, Wisconsin, Elkhart Lake, or Plymouth, Wisconsin, I guess. Yeah, that's this coming week. So I'm flying out tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. to Milwaukee, and then I'm there until Monday morning.
Wow.
Yeah, and what's cool with going to Road America is like we'll do a parade down to Elkhart Lake, and that's super fun. I rode in one of the cars last year on like the battery box, so I'm trying to convince my buddy Chris to let me take it down, and then have him drive it back. So
Cool
stuff. It's just cool interacting with fans and people that are passionate about motorsport and being able to talk to them. It was like in the everyday life, you don't really see a whole lot of people that know that stuff, so it's hard to have conversation because like that's my life now.
Sure.
Like there's other things I like to do, but it's all pretty much racing. Yeah, that's kind of why I'm like I come back to New Hampshire to come and race, see family, and then get out of here and do it all again somewhere.
What do you like better? Do you like pit crew or do you like racing?
That's hard.
Yeah.
I just love it all. But I mean, if I had to choose, I'd be a race car driver for sure. And I don't have the backing for that. But I have a cool announcement to share.
Oh.
Is one of my good friends that I met through karting years ago. I'll be running his car at White Mountain Speedway September 3rd for the Leaf Peepers L&M 100. So it'll be a 100-lap race at White Mountain Speedway. And
cool.
I'm super thankful that they feel comfortable with me being in the car because it's their house car.
What is it, Leaf Peepers?
The Leaf Peeper 100 at White Mountain Speedway.
That's wicked cool.
Yeah, and like I don't know how many cars are going to be there. I don't know how I'm going to be in a ACT car, which is an ACT late model. So we're gonna see because like I've got the experience in my Sportsman late model, and see if I can actually find a photo of the car.
Yeah, there wasn't much coming up, unfortunately, but
yeah. If you just type in White Mountain Speedway, his car is like one of the first ones that show up. It's the 7 VT driven by Dylan Paye. So that fourth photo.
This one?
Yep, one more, that red car there.
Number 7 here.
Yep,
cool.
That one there.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's sick.
I'm really excited, just super thankful that Dylan and his family, his father Bruce, are comfortable with me getting into it, and see what we can do, and hopefully open up some more opportunities to hop in some different seats.
So what do you have for a crew for that kind of a thing? Like how many people are on your team?
I believe like they're supplying most of the people that help out with Dylan's racing because he usually runs the car. So I mean, it's going to be his father, his stepmom, probably his sister, him. So I mean, it's a small crew, and then if they need anyone else, I have a few people I can have come up and help out, take tire pressures, do stagger, stuff like that.
So that's some cool stuff. I'm sure like doing pit crew like helps kind of ground you as a racer, right?
It does, yeah. And it, like after doing it professionally, this is my second year doing it, coming back and seeing my race program, it's like, wow, there's a lot of things that I forgot about when I built this car, that I didn't have the perspective on.
Sure.
So it's cool to be able to kind of make small changes and overlook stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, there's some extra speed that we didn't have before. And
that's
just
awesome.
Kind of compounding on that. There's really no one thing that we could change just to be half a second faster. It's a mix of everything.
100%.
And then just having seat time as well, because like,
sure,
I'm not the fastest guy out there, but I try to be as consistent as I can and run the same lap times and hopefully knock them down.
That's how you get there, right?
Yeah.
So what's the weirdest form of racing you've seen?
In person?
Online, in person, whatever.
Figure 8 racing, like professional figure 8 racing, where like they're purpose-built race cars just like these, but they have like these huge sails on them. And then these guys go out and figure 8 race them. Like that, to me, is the wildest form of motorsport those things. Wild.
Absolutely wild. I have seen these before.
Yeah.
I think I've seen them too. I saw the one I thought always stood out to me was, have you ever seen like the old GoPeds?
GoPeds.
Kind of. Stand-up gas scooters with like a weed whacker motor on the back.
Yeah.
But people build these things up. They'll pull like 60, 70, 80 cc motors and go nuts.
Wild.
And they're like fast.
The stand-up ones?
Yeah.
Jesus.
You're talking about stand-up ones? Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I had one of these when I was a kid, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I had one when I was in
hilarious.
high school, I think. But like mine had a 33 cc. Mine was a Blades Moby. That's the one I had, a Blades Moby.
I think the most fun form of motorsports I've seen that's like kind of on a budget is it's called cross kart. And like they're full suspension little cart buggies that just look like a blast. They do like hill climbs and like rallycross stuff.
One of these.
Yep.
That's
I had one of those, and you could do wheelies on it. The black one right there is the one I had.
I think the one I had was electric though.
Mine had a weed
If I
whacker motor.
remember right.
I got pulled over on that thing.
I took mine out on the road one time, and my dad was so mad at me for doing it. I didn't even know like I shouldn't do it. I didn't even think like, oh yeah, it's got a motor. I probably can't take this out on the road.
Yeah, I think I've just gotten too old. I don't know. I got a lot of gray hair nowadays, and it's like feels weird. But yeah,
so here's
like
that figure 8 racing you were talking about.
These guys are nuts. Like when the pack gets spread out and they have to actually go through their competitors like that, it's like it's nuts.
That is nuts.
Like those aren't cheap. Those are not
Plus
cheap
it's
race
scary
cars.
just crossing traffic like that. Like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me?
Are you good?
Did you play that game that came out recently, Wrecked, that has like all this kind
Yeah,
of racing
love
in
it.
it? And
Yeah.
has like lawnmower racing.
I play it
and
on the
stuff?
plane sometimes.
Yeah.
And like I always kind of feel bad if I'm sitting next to a kid because like I have a gaming laptop and I bring
Sure.
my Xbox controller and like on some of my flights I'll play like Shredders or Wrecked or whatever else and like I'll get kids so jealous.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, that Wrecked game is crazy. I only played it a little bit, but they have like the lawnmower demolition derbies and stuff.
Yeah.
Good time.
You ever seen the motorcycle demo derbies they do?
Crazy.
That's
Those guys are nuts.
Yeah, they do
All right, I
motorcycle
gotta see
demolition
this.
derbies.
I don't know. At the old Homes days in Brookline, we used to put on a pretty good show in lawnmower racing.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking about that recently because I've been working on my mower a lot lately because it's a piece of crap.
Mm-hmm. Jack was the ace, I swear.
He still has it.
I bet he does.
But yeah, I have this terrible like mindset where I see somebody doing a job and I'm like, I could probably do that. And today, this past week, I kind of humbled myself because kind of what you do, like taking off wheels and stuff in pit.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently got a 1/2-inch impact and I was like, oh, this thing is sick because I've never really used one before. And I was like, oh, I could do this. And I got excited to use it. And I used it on my mower and like within 3 seconds of me using it for the first time, broke a bolt. Turned a 5-minute job into a 2-day job to get that bolt.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe I can't do it.
Those things are crazy, man. The impacts, I crumple tubes at work and stuff with them.
Mm-hmm.
Milwaukee, man, they put out a kick-ass tool, I will say.
Like when my dad got to see our pit guns up close, he was looking at it. He's like, "Damn, like this is what I use to take off like dump truck tires." You know, it's like a 1-inch, like a 1-inch socket that goes onto it.
That's
and
huge.
like we run those at just about 400 psi nitrogen. You know, so I mean, there's a lot of torque that comes out of it. And like, I need to practice a little bit more so I can use it better one-handed when I'm pulling them off, just to save a little bit of time that way.
This isn't what you were talking about, is it? This looks stupid.
Oh my god.
There's the ones I'm talking about, they usually have them on all kinds of motorcycles, and they just try to drive into each other.
That'll hurt.
Last man standing wins.
That's insane. This is such a redneck sport.
Oh, yeah.
Like, well, I know it's not motorsport, but you guys see in like cheese wheeling, where like people just flailing down hills. I think, you know, trying to chase a big chunk of cheese.
No.
I've never.
I'm pretty sure it's called cheese rolling.
It sounds familiar. I might have seen
Too far into cheese land, man.
Well, I mean, yeah. I spent a lot of time in Wisconsin, but like I think this happens in there it is.
Just roll it down a
cheese
hill.
Roll. Yeah, they roll.
And whoever gets
big old
wins,
wheel of
is that
cheese
what it
down
is?
there, and just I guess hang on. You try and run as much as you can, and then it's just. And like that's pretty steep.
That's a steep hill.
Like imagine being at the top of Big Bear and just feel like, all right, I guess I'm gonna full sprint down this thing now.
Yeah.
So do you win that chunk of cheese? Is that the idea here?
I would hope so.
Like that girl's got
Take it
a
home.
system. So that
like,
cheese must.
Here
be
they are
worth,
running. It's like no,
The cheese must be worth some money.
it's covered in mud.
Oh, they just have a finish line. They don't actually get the cheese.
You gotta fight
I
everyone
wonder if
when
there's
you get
one
to
where
the
they actually
bottom.
get the cheese. It reminds me of...
There's some people that like get seriously hurt
I believe
trying
it.
to do that.
I bet. Tore ACLs, meniscus. Doing
Look at these people just...
going for it. We are
so
not
awesome.
a smart race. We really are not.
I'm not a rubber band anymore, man. I fall down, I get hurt.
Yeah. And it takes longer to get back up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy's walking. I can't move.
2 people.
I got a rock right up the ass. That's what happens, dude. Like, oh, boom, that guy wailed the head off a rock.
That guy's got a system though. He's just rolling.
He's knocked out. He's got to be.
You think so? just wailing his head. Oh, is it a
She got
girl?
it.
Nice, she wins.
Rolling to the wind. Yeah, so you get to take a block of cheese home. Destroy your
Nice
body.
dirty block of cheese.
Hopefully it's like
Break your
saran
bones.
wrapped up.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. Mate, now had that been some Oakhurst whole milk, it would be a different story.
Some Cabot.
Dude, I'd fight someone for some Cabot.
Really?
Cabot and whole milk are like my two favorite things.
I get teased a lot because back in the day when I was a kid, I was a dairy farmer.
Yeah.
You know, not by choice. Well, kind of by choice. I needed a job, and then beat bagging groceries. You know, I was outside all day. I got to
Sure.
drive trucks and equipment around and learn more about diesel and ag. And it was a cool job for a 16-year-old kid. Just you had to do a lot of nasty stuff.
Oh, I believe
And
it.
like
yeah.
I give those guys a lot of credit because there's no days off.
Sure.
You know, cows need to get milked, and delivering them is gross.
There's not a lot of money in it, right?
Yeah,
I think people just do it because it's
can't really
like,
say. I never saw
Yeah.
you know how much they made from selling milk and all that, but
It's worth it, I guarantee.
I feel like people just do it now
Hopefully.
because it was like in the family.
hopefully because they deserve it. You know,
Yeah.
those guys work hard and all day from up at 3:30 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. You know,
Sure.
it's chores.
I wouldn't mind having a cow just to hang out with, like a pet cow, but
Right, like a beef cow. Like
What are those long-haired ones that people make pets out of? You know which ones I'm talking about?
I wouldn't mind a Jersey cow, but they're kind
I
of.
think it's a Jersey cow.
Those are short haired. They're smaller, usually like brown, like a lighter brown, and they just want to come up and lick you. That is it.
This thing. What is this thing called?
Ooh, I don't know. I didn't take 4-H. I didn't go to 4-H, so I couldn't tell you.
Is that in like a mini donkey? I've always wanted a mini donkey.
I feel like it's on TikTok a lot that
Is it
people
a
make these their pets.
Staffordshire?
I
I don't know.
Couldn't talk. But yeah, that would be your cow that you would take home, I think.
Yeah.
That is you, Steve.
I know.
Like
Oh, this is a video.
to a T.
Good
A Highland cow. That's what it is.
A Highland, okay.
Yeah, they're like big dogs.
Right.
Same thing with horses.
But like they're not. Like
But
their
they're
grocery
livestock.
bill is more than yours.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, look at him. He's pretty cute.
they're thugs. Like that one is cute as hell.
I'd rather have a goat. I'd rather have like mini goats.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're funny. There's
Mow
some
your
across
lawn
the
for
street
you.
from our shop in North Carolina, and like they're just awesome to go look at and hang out with.
See, I've never had good experiences with goats. I've been rammed a lot.
Why?
I don't know. I just got that look. They don't know what the beard means.
Right.
So they're like, ah.
They're intimidated.
They go
Last
right at
episode
me.
we were talking about those goats that are like cliff. They stand on like a quarter of an inch of a cliff.
Yeah,
Oh, those guys are wild.
the salt goats.
Yeah.
Oh, salt goats.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're trying to get salt. So they climb up into the mountains.
Yeah, they climb like dams too.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah, like that one right
This
there.
thing.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that video where they climb dams so they can go lick salt.
What a wild world that they live in.
I just can't believe their anatomy is like built up to where they can do that because
But
like,
they
you know
fall
how
all
difficult
the
it is
time.
for
Yeah.
I'm sure. Well, like how difficult it would be for a human to go stand up there and like lick the wall, like those guys do it like it's nothing.
That's all that program.
But I feel like they're not. I feel like you're giving them more credit than they deserve. I feel like they're not that. Like I feel like they're clumsy and they fall a ton. See, look at this guy.
I wonder if they just
Saved it though. That was a good save.
True, he did say
They
it.
probably just dig in their horn and try to catch something enough for their feet to grab.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's like a straight up wall. That thing
Right,
is
it's just all
frigged.
about the surface area of their hooves that they can kind of put enough pressure on whatever hold they got. And
It's like whoop whoop going down. It sucks.
yeah, crazy.
You're walking by your buddy, and you kick him. Bye.
My salt. Yeah, that's
I
funny.
say you could touch my block. Get out of here.
So you said you did a little bit of lawnmower racing when you were here. Were you?
No,
Or
not
you
not
just
this
watching
time.
it?
I mean,
Yeah.
no, this was years ago.
No, that's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about. Years ago.
back in like I don't know 2006. or-
Yeah.
Who
Something
flipped?
like
I
that.
remember one year someone flipped their lawnmower in the race.
It wasn't me. I swear, it wasn't me.
Was it Jack?
If
No,
anything-
Jack went by the guy. I forget.
I
who
do
else-
remember
Oh, I don't know.
because I was thinking about this the other day. I do remember
Yeah.
somebody flipped.
It's
but-
on YouTube.
I do.
Is it?
I miss the camaraderie of
Think
like
so.
mid 2000s old homes days.
Yeah.
You know, like that Brookline would have, and like Hollis too.
Yeah.
I was like, now it's not the same.
I remember
If they even do it, I don't even know anymore.
Yep, all the towns around here do it.
Yeah.
They just had it set up in Hudson not that long ago.
So what do you do to a lawnmower to make it faster?
Pulley swap.
Obviously, you take off.
Pulley swap.
Oh yeah,
Oh, this is it, right?
I did it one year on like a bright pink tractor.
I think so.
Someone else's, and they wanted me to race it. Oh, yeah, sure.
This looks like Brooklyn.
Yep, I think it is.
That's Jack right there.
No way.
I'm pretty sure that's his
no,
mower.
that's not. That's
Isn't
not
it?
him.
I can't see this.
Those
one.
guys
Jack-
are going slow. I mean,
Jack's
those
did like 50.
They are going slow. What?
that's the restricted class. You got to find the
Restricted
like the unrestricted.
I don't know if there's a video of it. It's such
open,
a small
but
town.
like legitimate lawnmower racing it's a sport.
It's wild. So this is
Yeah.
like a legit video. Of course, there's an ad for
I've
this.
seen people build some.
You got to get
pretty
ad blocker,
cool-
Derek. I don't know
I
what's
know.
going on.
I said that last week and I didn't do it. But so yeah, what do you? I'm sorry. What do you do to make a lawnmower faster? I know you just said it, but I
You
wasn't.
can change the pulleys around, and if they got a governor on them,
Yeah.
Yep.
get rid of that. Throw it in the trash.
Obviously, take off as much weight as you can.
These ones are custom. Those are more like go-karts with lawnmower hoods on them,
Right.
Yeah.
which is still sick. I would love to build one.
One of my buddies jacked one way up in the air. It was pretty funny.
Remember Sam did way back in the day.
Yeah.
See, that's nuts.
When
I'd
you're
love
bored
to
and
do
young
that.
with a welder, you can kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where the creativity comes in.
Yeah.
I had an old national lawnmower from a golf course. It's like a 1960 something.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up doing a pulley swap on the thing, and it was doing like, you had to engage the clutch manually and the belt tightened,
Mm-hmm.
and you would take off. The motor was on the front of it, and the thing did like 30 until I grenaded all the gears inside of it.
Jeez.
It's like, well, shoot.
That's got a 6 steering wheel on it.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people because in the Brookline races, like I think Jack had to put like a wheelie bar on his mower, like taking out restrictors, and that's all you need to make it that fast. Have to worry about that kind of a thing.
This
I don't
was
think
lowered.
I don't think he was really doing much else. I mean,
Yeah.
No brakes.
we've all seen his shed,
Sure.
and that's where the fast stuff comes out of is like Jack's shed.
Yeah, for some
Yeah.
reason that shed.
Yeah, the
Seen
shed.
more
and
motor building than most people.
when he
saw.
upgraded from lawn mowers to full size trucks, he had to put up a canopy.
Yep.
Yeah. And then have all of us help bring stuff into his living room.
Right.
The
Like I would.
basement.
Yeah. Or like one of the last times I was there was a few years ago during the winter. Like there was just an engine block chilling in his basement and a whole bunch of other
Yeah.
parts.
He built
Basically
a-
whole drivetrain was down there.
He built his whole. He built the whole motor of his truck in his basement.
I give him credit, man.
That thing is nasty.
I give him
too.
credit. Yeah.
I just got a snap memory the other day of him holding it pad grab doing a burnout for literally 5 minutes straight.
I know, because then it's always the day after I text him like, "Hey man, I want to go for a ride." And he's like, "No, I broke it.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
can't. I blew up my truck.
I broke my truck again."
There's some blow by. I don't know where it's
Yeah.
coming from, but serious.
So when you race, do they stream that anywhere? Because I know you were talking about
Um,
they stream your pit stuff.
For my work.
but- no, just for like when you do your races up here.
Yeah, the last time I was up here, they streamed it on. It's called the NHSTRA. So it's the New Hampshire Short Track Racing Association.
Okay.
That's where they streamed some races. I don't think they did it Sunday because there was a big modified race going on. There was some conflict with a streaming service called Racing America, and I thought they were going to cover that day's events, but I don't know. They either never had permission. I don't know. I saw a quick post on Facebook, and it's like
Interesting.
when it comes to and then all the comments, I kind of like read through them, and it's like I don't have any input here to
Yeah.
to add, so I guess I'll just keep my mouth shut.
That's it, because I feel like
Yeah.
that could be something that would be sick to watch in a stream. You know what?
Yeah,
what
it's
I
pretty
mean? Like,
cool. Yeah, when they live stream it, they'd they'll like live stream around the pits and kind of show everybody and
That's
hope
cool.
that fans come out and come watch. And there was quite a bit of people there Sunday for the mod race. I mean, it's always cool racing in front of maybe 100 people or so.
Sure.
It's always nice.
Yeah, that's wicked cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll keep an eye on your YouTube channel because
I don't really
I-
post much. I'm
I
sure
you
probably
posted
be better
yesterday.
at it, but yeah,
so it's pretty
That was the
recent, right?
first time since March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still cool stuff though. So
That's
It's like I
alright.
have a bunch of like really cool footage, and maybe at the end of the year I'll like compile a video of like snaps and some Instagram stuff that
sure.
I just kind of have saved or archived or just in my camera roll because there's a bunch of good stuff in there. It's just wait to let it out.
So where can people listening follow you? Do you have anywhere that you want to send people?
I I mean, just the DXDT Racing page on Facebook, Instagram. That's kind of where they'll post a lot of what we're doing.
And YouTube too, right?
Yeah, they do their YouTube. I don't think they're really doing it a whole lot this year. Really just kind of depends on their clientele and customers whether or not.
Sure.
I just work on the cars. Makes my life so much easier.
Yeah.
I've kind of separated, and I don't have to deal with logistics or trucking. None of that. It's not my department. I just,
stick to your
try
own
to
thing.
fix race cars and make them go fast. And
Yep.
Cool stuff,
that's
man.
it.
So, Steve-O, if you got anything else?
For the racing scene?
I mean, we're at about an hour is what I'm saying. So.
Oh no,
Uh,
I think I'm ready to roll, man. That was a good episode right
Yeah.
there.
Well, thanks for coming out, Davey. It's
Of course,
always
man. Congratulations.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
On the kiddo.
Yeah, it's been crazy. That's why the upload has been a little crazy too. But
Right.
yeah, it's wild. Definitely wild. So
Yeah, so my next trip up here is Labor Day weekend. I'll be in the area I'll be up north for the first few days and then coming back down to Brookline and then fly back out and prep some cars because then we're doing Sebring and then we have the 8 hours of Indianapolis. So it's a 8-hour race at the end of the year for the finale. So that'll be pretty fun.
Let's come on back.
Yeah, that's when the races kind of get, the crew have a bigger input, because like usually with our pit stops, they're timed, or there's a mandatory minimum time from pit in to pit out. So we're usually ahead of it. The car sits in the box for as long as it need to. We calculate how much that is, and we try to be, maybe plus half a second. That's a lot. If we're plus half a second on the minimum time, we're good. We try to be right around there. But for Indy, you go on tires. So as soon as tires are done, you go. So we're trying to really knock our times down to the low 20-second mark for 4 tires, doing just with one changer and one hanger. So we're working on our choreography and practice. To try and get down there. I think
must take a lot of practice to get that.
Yeah,
right?
I think Frank and I can do it.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. You're always welcome back on whenever you're in the area.
Thank
so,
you guys. I
just
appreciate
let
it.
us know.
Love hanging out with you.
Oh yeah, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Of course.
Well, until next time, guys. We will see you next Thursday.
Take it easy.